Hello, everyone. In this lecture, we will look at data validation. As the name suggests, data validation is a way to validate the data that the user is entering. As I always tell my clients, it is better to avoid an error rather than try to find the best way to fix it. Let's take an example. Imagine that we are asking a user to enter a rating between 5 and 10. Now, the problem here is that a user can perhaps ignore the 5 to 10 and insert a number outside that range. Or maybe they accidentally typed a number which they did not intend. So it's a typographic error. But the problem is that it then becomes a garbage in, garbage out, because once you get the incorrect input, it's a big hassle to try and fix it. So it's always better to try and avoid the error to begin. Now, of course, we have mentioned to the user to enter a rating between 5 and 10. But even so, we can always stop the user from making a mistake. Let's take an example. So if I go to data and data validation, at the moment, it says allow any value, which means the user can enter any value that they want. And I want to select a whole number, and we will select between 5 and 10. Click on OK. And as you can see, there is nothing that really changes on the cell. But if I try to enter a 5, it works. If I try to enter a 4, it gives me an error saying that the value does not match the data validation restrictions. We can make this experience even better by again going back to data validation. And then in the input message, we can say that, please note, value should be between 5 and 10. And there is also an error alert which says that, please check value is not in the correct range. So the moment the user clicks on that cell, there is this yellow box that pops up saying value should be between 5 and 10. And if I do make a mistake, then it tells me that the value is not in the correct range. So we can even customize the comment and the error box that comes in. Now, one other option that we have is to go to data validation, and we will allow a list. And the list can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way, the user has a drop-down from where they can select the value that they want. This is also a very good way, because here you don't even allow the user to type in a different number. For example, if I try to type in an 8, it doesn't work. You can also do the same thing for dates as well. You can see that in data validation, we have the option for a whole number, decimal, a list of values, date, time, and text length. So something like a mobile number, for example, or maybe you want a remark and you don't want the remark or the comment to be less than 50 characters. That is where the text length can be used. Let me now also show you how you can build your own formula. For example, I want to enter a mobile number starting with 9 should be 10 characters, and obviously should be a number format. So we should not have any text values in it. So think of the things that we want to do, not just one condition. There are 3 conditions. So we will say that if there is a number here, we will say that there is an and. The left of the number should be equal to 1, comma. Then we say that is number of B17 should be equal to true. We don't really need to write equal to true. We can simply say is number. And the final one is that the length should be exactly equal to 10. Now, as you can see, it doesn't work. We get a false here. In fact, let me just make sure that, do we need to put in the true here? Okay, that doesn't seem to be the problem. Let me see what else could be the issue, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. There should be a 9, right? And let me double check that. Okay. We will also have to make sure that this will be a 9 as a text value, since we're using a left function, and that works. So as you can see, if I change the first number into an 8, it gives me a false. And if the number of digits is more than 10 or less than 10, it will give me a false. Now, this very same formula I can copy and then come back to data and data validation. And here we can go to custom and we can essentially put that formula here as it is. You can use any type of formula or function which results in a binary answer, either a true or a false. Click on OK, everything works. The moment there is an error, it doesn't work. It doesn't even allow me to put in that incorrect value. Now, this is basically how data validation works, but there are entire books written on data validation. So there is a lot that you can do with it. A lot of it has to do with these rules and formulas that you're writing, but they're a very important part of your arsenal as a data analyst. So make sure to practice this thoroughly. And the inbuilt options, of course, are very clear, but mostly it would be the formulas that are slightly more difficult. And my suggestion would be to try and run the formula outside into another cell, for example. And once you are confident that it is working, copy and paste it inside data validation. Just a few other small things. If you want to copy the cell with the data validation, we just do a Control-C, Control-V. In case you want to remove the data validation from a cell, you can go back to data validation and you can select clear all. This will remove all the validations from that cell. As you can see, there's no validation now. And if you have a range and you would like to know how many cells have a data validation in it, you can use go to special, which is Control+G. Click on special and then select data validation. And this way, all the cells that have a data validation are highlighted for you.